Welcome to the channel, guys. In this video I would like to help you guys on the topic of giving more information. This is a lesson I like to cover because this is something that can be applied throughout most levels on the speaking test. And no matter if you're intermediate or beginner, having a technique to help you remember give more information in your answers will be an effective way to improve your score on the speaking test. So what I want to do is start off with this simple question I like to ask students. Very common question on part 1 of the IELTS exam, which is, do you work or study? I'll put the question here. I want to cover this question as an example to help you. Now, when I'm teaching a class, I like to ask 3 students this question in the classroom. This is just kind of for fun. So for example, one answer might be, I work, okay? Second answer might be, I study at University of Finance and Marketing, for example. And third, another answer might be like, study. The answers can vary depending on who answers the question. Usually if no one volunteers right away, I will volunteer my own answer, which would be a very simple answer like I work, for example. Okay, so these are 3 example answers. I work, first answer, second answer, I study at University of Finance and Marketing, and third answer, study. Now, if we look at these answers, the next thing I would like to ask the class is, I would say, please raise your hand when I ask you which answer you like the best. So for example, raise your hand if you like answer number 1 the best. Okay, some people might raise their hand. And then answer number 2, I'll say raise your hand if you like number 2 the best. Now at this point, most classes will catch on quite quickly and they'll look around, especially at their peers. And the majority will assume that, in a lot of cases in my experience, they do raise their hand for the longer answer. And then finally number 3, hardly anyone will raise their hand for number 3, but I'll crack a joke, especially if it's my own answer. I'll say, well, I like this answer the best, just to have some fun with it. So anyways, yeah, I will say, yes, answer number 2 is correct. And then I'll ask someone why. Why do you think answer number 2? Or why did you raise your hand for answer number 2? And a lot of people, most of my students are quite bright and catch on quickly, and they'll answer, well, because it's the longest answer. Okay, so this is where I come in with what I'm going to give the students to practice. Okay, this technique will help you guys as well as my students. I like to give them a key of questions or a guide to help them and to help you ask yourself these questions to help you give more information. Okay, so I rewrote this answer. I study at University of Finance and Marketing. So before I reveal all the questions that I would like to give you guys as a key, I will normally ask the class, what do they answer in this sentence? For example, they answer where. Where do they study? Okay. They also answer what. What do they do? Because remember the question was, do you work or study? And they answer study, right? So we're gonna write these 2 questions down. So first one, what and where? Okay, so I'll write it on the side like this. What and where? Now, notice that these questions start with the letter W. What other W questions can you think of to ask this person to know more information? Okay, probably the next question is maybe like when. When do you study? So let me go ahead and write this. When do you study? Okay, so at this point I'll ask one of the students or the student who answered this question, when do they study? So for example, I study in the morning. I love to study in the morning. So I'm going to expand this question, showing you guys what the future answer will look like. Okay, so now my answer has been expanded. I study at UFM and I study in the morning. Okay, so notice we answered 3 W questions, but there are more W questions that we can go ahead and ask this person to know more information. What's another W question you can think of? Probably the next one would be maybe something like, well, do you study with anyone? Who? Who do you study with? So I'll go ahead and write this. Who do you study with? So I study in the morning with my, maybe at this point I'll be funny and I'll ask a student in the class, oh, who do you study with? Do you study with your grandma, your grandpa, girlfriend, boyfriend, friends? Okay, so most people will say they're friends. Let's, I don't know, be funny here. I study in the morning with my dog, okay? Just for some humor in the class. So now we completed one sentence. Now, there are a few more questions we can ask. So one of the most important questions at this point, if no one has said this yet, is gonna be this one. Okay, this is one of the most important questions. And that is why. Why is very important, and it is a question that I will emphasize to students to remember to answer in each of their answers if possible. So for example, if they say, I like action movies, try to explain why. I like action movies because they're very exciting, they have a very good story, like Avengers, for example. Or I like traveling to Japan because I love sushi and I love hot springs and Mount Fuji, Alright, so probably the last few questions we could probably add that are a little bit less of importance would be how and which, and these are kind of like situational. Now I will emphasize that you do not need to answer each of these questions in all of your answers, okay? This is just a guide of questions that you have a choice of answering at your will, okay? This is just to help you expand your answer. This is not like set into stone. I'm not saying that you have to answer each of these questions to give a good answer. I'm just saying this is here to help you remember to ask yourself and to help you expand your answer. So we do not need to answer every single one of these questions. Let me go ahead and finish off our answer. I study at UFM and I study in the morning with my dog. We could say, for example, in this sentence, you're probably wondering, what do they study? Okay, so we could say, this could be our second sentence. I study finance. And then this is where the magic of why comes in. I study finance because I want, and this is where I kind of give some humor in the classroom, I want to make a lot of money, or I want to be rich. Now, this is just for humor, but as you can see, look how different our answer is from the beginning. So I study at UFM. So notice at the beginning, this was just a very simple answer in part 1. Now, look at how our answer sounds now. I study at UFM and I study in the morning with my dog. Okay, I study finance because I want to make a lot of money, or I want to be rich. Now, notice how it's not too much information, but it's just right. It's right in the middle. It's about 2 sentences. You want to focus on 2 to 3 sentences, and you don't want to make it too long, but obviously not too short. So giving more information is the key here of the goal of our lesson for today. And we're going to be using this key here on the side of questions to help you expand your answers and make them longer, help you give more information, okay? So you notice that how much better this answer sounds after we've used our key, okay? So this is a very simple technique to try. So what I would like to do is give you guys a list of questions now. So I'm gonna skip over to another screen and go ahead and practice answering these questions with a partner by using this key, okay? You want to ask yourself these questions to help you give more information in your answers. Most important, try to answer why when possible. So for example, maybe some questions that you don't need to answer why would be, where are you from? So for example, I'm from America. Now, it's kind of weird to answer why for this answer. So for example, I'm from America because, well, obviously I was born there, okay? So in some answers, you do not need to answer why. So we maybe consider something else. So for example, I'm from America, from the state of Missouri. Okay, so notice I answer which state. And then maybe I could say, you know, Missouri is in the Midwest of America. So where is it exactly? Okay, so it's a very simple answer rather than me giving a too much of a short answer like I'm from America. Okay, so notice the difference. I'm from America. I'm from America, from Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, and it is located in the Midwest of America. It sounds a little bit better, okay? So using this key will definitely help you. So here are the questions I would like you to practice with a partner. Take a few minutes and remember, try to at least answer with 2 or 3 sentences using this key to help you give more information. Once you finish, make sure that you give your partner a chance to answer these questions as well and listen to them carefully. All right, and then afterward, I will listen to each of you guys' answers, listen for any pronunciation or grammar mistakes, write them on the board, go ahead and ask the class what's wrong with these sentences or what is wrong with this, and then explain and correct the errors. I will also work with the class on pronunciation if any pronunciation errors are made, and go ahead and have the class practice that together along with me. And then after that, I might call on some students to share their answers to present to the class. Probably there's not enough time to choose to have each group present, so I'll do this at random. If I needed to, I would probably make another demonstration using this key with the class, working together with the class, if they were still confused on what I had just presented. So this is quite a simple lesson, I think, and I like this lesson a lot because it can be used with a range of speaking parts throughout the exam, particularly in part 1 and then part 3. Anyways guys, I hope this video helps you. Please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on the notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. What do you, oh wait, one question. Okay, sorry. The simple question of, yeah. The simple question of something like this. Oops. Okay, let me fix this. My handwriting is super bad. Wrong color. I don't want to use this color actually. And having a technique in your answers, remembering to give more information. Notice how long or how much, notice how. So anyways guys, I hope this video helps you. Here, give a little bit more fuller answers, okay, so which is the goal of today's lesson. You know how we do.